Welcome back. We've been doing a lot with web browsers, and it's really important. Web browsers have really simplified the internet and made it so much easier for you to do things. But there is a cost. You think web browsers are free, that all I have to do is download it, but the web browsers actually can then see where you go and what you do. And then they turn around and they sell that information. And that's how they make money off of your web browser. The other thing is often, you may such a prime example. You're sitting there and you're researching something about a dog. Well, suddenly you start noticing that you're getting all these ads about dog food and dog houses and toys for dogs. And you're like, why? Well, because you searched for something about a dog. And so now they're going to flood you with that information because they have a right to see where you go. There are some web browsers, though, that really they specify that they don't sell that information. They don't look and watch where you go, but then they have to make their money some way else, some other way. They may charge a fee to use their web browser or do other things. And so you need to be aware of that. Now, you've watched the video. Really pay attention. It's going to help you as you get into the quiz, which is today also. And if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it now. In the textbook here, they're talking about the World Wide Web, www. And if you notice, it used to be that had to be in front of the address of a website. They've done away with that now. It's not as important. There's still a few places and people of the old school like me that still use that, but it's not really needed. They then went in here and they talked about several of these different web browsers, and they gave you the official name of them. Write some of those down, keep that in your mind, but there's hundreds of other web browsers out there. They're not the only one. And then comparing web browsers. This is where you really need to take the time and do a little research. You may feel like, well, it seems like it's so slow. Well, is it because you've got poor internet access, or is it because of your web browser? And yes, there are different web browsers with different speeds. Used to be Google Chrome was the fastest. They claim Edge is faster, but I've yet to see that. But I don't use Edge much. I've yet to really like it. Mozilla Firefox is popular with some people. I've never really gained that as an interest in that one. Then they talked about open source software, which is nothing new. You've already got that in your word bank. Make sure you're seeing these in bold. If it's in bold, you need to put it in your word bank with a brief definition that's here in the text. That's what I use. They talk about Safari, which is Apple. You'll find Safari in all Apple products, but it's not the only one out there. I frequently then, as soon as I get Safari on there, I use Google Chrome or download it. Man, I like Safari. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, there's no definitive. There's nothing you have to have. It's just, what do you like? Then they talk more about the example of web browser screens, how they're laid out. Just remember, this is the address bar. Number 2 here, that's the address bar. And often you need to copy the address bar when you're trying to share it or create a link to that site. So always know where your address bar is. I think Edge likes to put the address bar down at the very bottom of the screen. Again, everybody's got their own preference. They're showing you how things are a little bit different. For this version of Internet Explorer, you have the address bar and then the name of the page. Apple Safari, they show the name of the page up here above the address bar, but it doesn't look the same. So you can see real quick, there's a little different. Again, nothing really wrong. Just be aware of how the company is using that data of yours. Same with like your social media websites. Facebook is making billions of dollars off of you because they see where you go and what you do. And you give them that right because you signed the agreement. So they track where you go and what you do, and then they sell that information. Many people feel like you should be making that money because you're letting them use your private information. So Facebook should be paying you. And there's been some debate over that. That's something to consider. Um, and then they're talking about your icons and how you can install things, creating bookmarks. This is a big thing. A lot of people don't create bookmarks and then they wonder why they can't remember the site, especially if it's a site you don't go to every day. But even if it is something you go to every day, suddenly you may stop using it for a week or a month and then remember, man, where is that? I can't remember what it is. Just doing a quick little bookmark. It's just with your bookmarks, you need to also organize it. You need to create folders that you can put things in there. Your games should be in one folder. Your technology should be in another folder. Your math or your English should be in another folder so that you can separate those out and find it a lot quicker. And then they're showing you how to go through the different ones, and you can click here to see how to do that. Again, we've got a lot of words in here. I really don't think you need to add these to your word bank. Just be familiar with them. Read over them. Make sure you're comfortable with them. And then browser security. What is the company doing with that information? Especially later on, you're going to sit there and want to be able to use your credit card or your checkbook on the internet. What does Google do with that information? How do they keep it confidential? That's a good question that you need to keep in mind. Automatically clear history. Sometimes clearing your history is a big plus. When you keep getting all those pop-ups that you want to get rid of, you're tired of seeing all that about dog food, then maybe clearing your history will help. So think about that. Those are some things that will really help. All right, guys. Read through this, take a few minutes, pause the video, make sure you go back, find the words that are in bold print, put it in your word bank. That doesn't take long. I'm not making you type it up. URL. This is an excellent one right here because many people know URL, but they don't know that it stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Work on that. Get that done. And then you've got the 5 questions at the end of this. Here in Google Forms. I hope you're doing well. Be safe. Make sure you wear the mask correctly. People, it is important, and it's for your safety and the safety of your family. I hope you're doing well. I miss you. Hope to see you soon. Take care.